Okay, it's one of those moments that just makes your heart sink. Your pet, your best friend, is suddenly sick, and your mind is just racing with worry, right? You just want to know what to do. So let's just take a deep breath. We're going to walk through this together and make a really clear, simple plan.
And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The one that just freezes you in your tracks. Is this something we can just wait and see on? Or is this a drop everything and go now kind of emergency? You know, getting this right can make all the difference. And that's exactly what we're going to figure out in this explainer. How to make that call quickly and with confidence.
All right, before we dive into symptoms or anything else, the absolute #1 rule is try not to panic. I know, it's easier said than done, but your pet can totally pick up on your stress, and right now, you need to be their calm first responder. And with a clear head and a good plan, you absolutely can be.
So, to figure out what to do next, we first have to get a handle on what we're actually looking at. It's time to put on your detective hat and just carefully observe what's going on with your pet.
You know, looking at a list of possible symptoms can feel pretty overwhelming. So let's break it down into 3 main groups to make it easier. First, are you seeing gastrointestinal stuff, like vomiting or diarrhea? Or is it more abdominal, like a bloated or painful tummy? Or maybe it's something bigger, more systemic, like they're super tired, weak, or their gums look pale. Just slotting the symptoms into these buckets is the first step to making sense of the chaos.
Okay, now we're at the most important part. This is the big decision. We need to figure out if what we're seeing is a red flag, which means go to the vet immediately, or if it's a yellow flag, where we might have a little time to watch and see. Getting this right is absolutely everything.
And to help with that, let's quickly define 2 words, emergency and urgency. An emergency is, well, it's a clear life or death situation. Think collapse, can't breathe, there is 0 time to waste. An urgency, on the other hand, is still really serious, but it's not quite at that critical level yet. It's more of a warning sign, like a few rounds of vomiting, that could become an emergency if you ignore it.
All right, these right here are the non-negotiables. If you see any of these red flags, that's your sign. You stop what you're doing and you get to a vet. I'm talking about trouble breathing, pale gums, a sudden collapse, repeated vomiting, a belly that's swollen and hard. Any of these are signs of a true emergency where every single minute is going to count.
So why are those red flags so serious? Well, many of them are dangerous because they can lead to a really critical state called shock. Basically, it's when the body isn't getting enough blood to the vital organs. And honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons why you have to act fast.
So how can you spot shock at home? What you're looking for is a combination of things: a really fast but faint pulse, quick, shallow breathing, and there's those pale gums again. You might also notice that their paws and ears feel cold to the touch. That's the body trying to pull blood away from the extremities to protect the core organs.
And this brings up a really scary hidden danger. Let's say your pet had a trauma, like they were in a car accident or took a bad fall. They might even get up and seem totally fine. But what you can't see is potential internal bleeding, and that can be fatal. This is exactly why a vet check is an absolute must after any major accident, even if they look okay on the outside. So here it is, the 2 paths laid out side by side. On one side, you've got go now. That's for any of those red flag symptoms we just talked about. It's also for when your pet is very young or very old, or if your gut is just screaming at you that something is seriously wrong. Trust that instinct. On the other side is watch and call. This is for more isolated things, like a single bout of vomiting in a pet who's otherwise acting totally normal. So let's talk about the plan for each of these paths. Okay, let's start with the yellow flag path. If you've looked everything over and decided it's not an immediate emergency, here's a simple 3-step plan for some supportive first aid you can do right at home.
For a mild tummy upset, the game plan is pretty straightforward. Step 1, rest the stomach. That means no food for about 12 to 24 hours. This just gives their irritated system a chance to calm down. Step 2, push hydration. Dehydration is a huge risk, so make sure there's always fresh water around. And step 3, when you do bring food back, reintroduce it slowly, starting with a bland diet.
So what exactly is a bland diet? It couldn't be simpler.
We're talking boiled, boneless, skinless chicken breast, and some plain white rice. And this is key. Absolutely no oils, no butter, no seasonings. Nothing. The trick is to serve really small, frequent meals for a day or two, and then you can slowly start mixing their regular food back in.
And here's a fantastic little home remedy you can try. A spoonful of plain, canned pumpkin. Now listen closely. Make 100% sure it is not the sugary pumpkin pie filling. It has to be the plain stuff. The fiber in it can work wonders for helping to firm up mild diarrhea.
All right, let's switch gears. We're now on the red flag path. If you've spotted one of those serious signs and you know it's an emergency, it's time to act. Here is your Go Now action plan.
Okay, here are your first moves. Number 1, and I know this is the hardest one, but try to stay as calm as you can. Number 2, call your vet or the emergency clinic while you're getting ready. Just tell them, I'm on my way and this is what's happening. Giving them that heads up lets them get ready for you. And number 3, wrap your pet in a warm blanket. This can help prevent or lessen the effects of shock.
Now, actually getting a sick or injured pet into the car can be a real challenge. A carrier is best if they'll fit. But if your pet is bigger or can't move, you might have to get creative. You can make a stretcher out of a rigid board, or even just have 2 people carefully carry them in a strong blanket. The goal is to move them without causing more injury and to keep everyone safe. Remember, even the sweetest animal might bite if they're scared and in pain.
You know, at the end of the day, being your pet's best first responder really means being prepared before a crisis ever happens. Learning a simple skill, like how to find their heartbeat, can give you such vital information in a moment when every single second counts.
So, we've gone through how to react when things go wrong. But now, let's shift gears and talk about being proactive. How can you be prepared instead of just scared?
This right here is your prepared owner's checklist. Seriously, maybe even take a moment after this is over and just do it. Save your vet's number and the number for the local 24/7 emergency clinic right into your phone's contacts. Stay on top of those checkups and preventative meds. These little things don't just give you peace of mind, they can literally prevent an emergency from ever happening in the first place.
So we'll leave you with this one question. After going through all of this, from spotting those red flags to knowing what to put in a bland diet, the single most important thing is having your plan ready before you need it. So is your plan ready for your best friend?